SpellBook, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Introduce yourself, tell me what you do in the band.
I am Nate Tyson, lead singer of SpellBook.
Zinn, drums.
All right, so I guess your story begins with another band, Witch Hazel. Tell me about that project.
Well, it's really the same project. We started the band in 2007 under the name Witch Hazel. We did a bunch of, two full-length releases, Forsaken Remedies in 2012, and then Otherworldly in 2018, and some other small releases in between there. Really, it was the same band. We just changed the name to SpellBook. Once we got signed to Cruz del Sur Music, basically that name was holding us back for years. So we decided, since we're gonna be on this new label, we're gonna get this whole new audience listening to us. It's now or never to make the name change. So we ended up on SpellBook. So really, same name, same project, different name. Yeah.
How did those two albums do for you back then?
Well, they're both self-released. Yeah. Basically, we sold whatever we could.
Oh, there was a Sugar Bush picked us up on vinyl.
That's true. Our second full-length, Otherworldly, got picked up by Sugar Bush Records in the UK for vinyl, for a vinyl release. Other than that, everything else we've done was just all DIY, self-done by the band, self-released. So, we did what we could, selling what we could live.
How difficult was it for you to restart with a new name? Because after all, you did have two releases.
Other than personal pride, I think about it, I don't think it was difficult. Because with label support and PR, and it gets the name out to way more people than we could ever do ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that sets SpellBook apart from Witch Hazel?
Better songs.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just a continuation of the Witch Hazel material.
I think we're just getting better at songwriting and better production, and just overall better band in general.
Yeah.
How would you describe your style?
70s, evil, sleazy rock and roll. Mm-hmm. You want to call it proto-metal, doom rock, whatever, retro rock. We worship 70s rock and roll. That's the whole reason we started this band, started this project. So we try not to steer too far away from that to this day.
Obviously, you're very image conscious. Can you explain how that works?
Grew up on bands like Kiss, Alice Cooper, The Misfits, and then later in my teenage years, I got really into bands like the black metal scene. Image has always been a priority for me personally, and I think for the rest of us, we can agree, we just want to be the total package, not just music, but we want to put on a show, a spectacle, and we plan on doing that tonight, don't we, buddy?
Definitely.
So Magic and Mischief was your first album. You want to show the record and tell me anything we need to know about it?
Magic and Mischief, the first record under the name SpellBook. We actually wrote and recorded that under the name Witch Hazel.
Yep.
Back in 2019, I think.
Yes.
And that's the album that got us signed to Cruz del Sur. And before it was released, that's when we made the name change. So really, it was this close to being a Witch Hazel album.
How did you promote that record?
Well, COVID. Yes. COVID happened, and we didn't promote it.
It was released in 2020, right when the thick of COVID happened, so there was no shows, no touring.
We didn't play it, I should say. Not we didn't promote it, we didn't play it.
Right, so we had to get creative, and we made a YouTube channel, then we made some goofy videos to help promote, the record as best we could. Really, Cruz del Sur came in clutch with that. I mean, really pushing that record, and we ended up selling out a vinyl pretty fast on that one. So it ended up doing well, regardless of being released during COVID times.
So how often do you guys rehearse or have writing sessions?
Every week.
Yep, once.
Because your output is impressive.
Yeah, once or twice a week for the past
Rather than when members change.
16 years. Yeah. Yeah, we've gone through some lineup changes, which is always a setback, but I mean, nothing's going to stop us.
Yeah, and I was asking that because Deadly Charms, your second album, that came out in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, most of this was written during COVID. We weren't touring, we weren't playing shows, so we were free to just immediately start writing the next record. So that's what we did, and once Cruz del Sur Music caught wind that we were demoing new music, they offered to put it out for us, and yeah, we had it out, 2 years after Magic and Mischief.
Yeah.
How would you say the band progressed since then? Or even in between the two records?
Well, lineup changes, so that has a different dynamic musically.
They definitely brought their own ideas. Once they realized, they learned the whole set list basically of the old material,
Right.
and got the vibe of that. They're big fans of that. And then when we started writing new material, they knew kind of like which vein to tap out of.
And I think Deadly Charms is a way more focused album than Magic and Mischief. Sound and musically, Magic and Mischief, I love it, but it's all over the place musically. From Maiden-esque proto-metal stuff to straight up doom to
Alice Cooper, 20s noir.
concept noir song. You know, it's all over the place. I think our latest record, Deadly Charms, is definitely more focused. It's more a better representation of our sound and what we're trying to do as a band.
Were you able to get on any tours with Deadly Charms? Any shows? Anything?
Well, the main thing with Deadly Charms is we wanted to break into the festival circuit. And somehow, some way, we actually did. Today is our first major festival supporting the record. We have more lined up after this, but Legions of Metal here in Chicago is the first of many to come. So far so good with what we projected.
What we wanted
and
for
wanted.
years, so happy.
Do you think you have more opportunities now that the records are out?
Absolutely. We got these shows without the help of bookers or promoters or agents. The festivals have been coming to us, which is kind of unheard of. So I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
So absolutely, the fact that being on Cruz del Sur, getting our name out there, 2 records in, our name is now starting to populate the scene, I think, and giving us opportunities like today. So we just want to keep
What do you
rolling.
think mostly about?
Witches.
Witches. Tell us more.
Specifically with Deadly Charms, deal a lot with various different kinds of witchcraft and folk tales.
Local?
Yeah, so a lot of the album is based around our local Pennsylvania, PA Dutch folklore.
Remeyer's Hollow.
Actual true stories that took
Witch of Ridley Creek, Philly.
Yep, Witch of Ridley Creek is a true story. It's the first ever witch trial that took place in Pennsylvania and in America. It predates the Salem witch trials. Remeyer's Hollow is
Literally our stomping ground.
literally in our backyard, a story that not a lot of people know about. It's about a man that was murdered for witchcraft in the 1920s. So, aside from that, horror, demons, witches, ghosts, spooky stuff.
All the things your parents warned you about.
Yeah.
What is your local scene like?
Everything.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
Our local scene, it's not uncommon to have a show with a punk band, a goth band, a metal band, a rock and roll band, and like an industrial band. Like that's a normal show for the York, Pennsylvania scene. So there's a lot of talent there that I think gets looked over a lot. Bands like Cultic, Wrath of Typhon, Break City Drowners. These are guys that have been doing it for years and still plugging away. And we just got lucky with a record deal. I mean, really. So yeah, local scene, very diverse.
So according to your pattern, your next album should be out next year.
That's the goal.
That's the goal, actually. Yeah. As soon as possible, yes. As soon as possible.
And we got 2 new members, hungry. Can't wait to start demoing stuff out.
We're gonna start the demoing and writing process here in the next couple months. So.
What are those new songs sounding like?
Well, they haven't heard them yet.
Yeah. They don't exist yet.
Well, they exist in my head. But I'd say if you're a fan of Deadly Charms, you're gonna like the next album too. It's still the same spooky rock and roll with elements of doom and folk, and just straight ahead like proto metal, just all combined into one tight package. So.
How you doing?
Tell me about your artwork. It's very specific, very stylistic. How does it work?
We've been lucky with getting really talented artists to work with us. We've had a different artist for every album so far. Where to start? Just go with Otherworldly. This is done by Rebecca Magar, our friend, who's also the drummer for Cultic, another local band. Super talented artist. When it came to the first SpellBook record, Magic and Mischief, this was done by a guy named Chad in LA. Am I getting that right?
Yeah,
Yes. And the recent album, Deadly Charms, was done by David Theory. He's not from America. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But we found David through Instagram. He's done work for bands that I love, like Mortis, Behemoth, Ishan from Emperor, mostly like black metal stuff. But his style just, I think, represented exactly the vibe we were going for. The very old, spooky, witchy, trolly vibe. So yeah, so far we've had a different artist for every album, and we even worked with Adam Burke once for Nocturnity.
For Nocturnity. I kind of like it like that too. Keeps it fresh.
Finally, what's next for you?
What's next? More festivals. Writing the next album, recording the next album, probably in New York.
Hoping.
We can see about that. We're probably doing the next album in New York, and just trying to make it to the next level as always.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
man. Thank you.
Cheers.